All right. Go on and swim then.
I'm trying to get used to the water. I told you I can't just jump in because it's too
And
cold.
plus, I don't want to go over there because you got your radio on.
Oh, I can turn it down.
Okay. Go turn your radio. Go turn your radio down. We're gonna do this one thing at a time.
Yeah, we'll do it over there.
Get your radio down. Y'all see what's going on?
Yeah, I've just been laying out in the sun mainly.
Oh yeah.
Trying to get me a little tan.
Get you a little tan.
Last time I put my phone in the sun, and see, I just lay on this, but I always pull this all the way down and that off, and then people came, so I had to act like I was swimming. But last time I left my phone in the sun, and it wouldn't work. I thought I ruined another phone. I probably
How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Y'all check Jennifer out, man.
I just found out a whole bunch of weird stuff about, like, you know how the Egyptians believed in life after death and reincarnation? Turns out it's true. Huh? But yeah, I know, in case you didn't notice, the addiction part of my life came from way back in the day when I was Cleopatra. You know, all the Egyptians were buried with weed and cats and gold and spice. It was called African spice, and then shrooms and even cocaine. They were buried with cocaine. What happened was Cleopatra was queen of all of that, and she united everybody by getting them to trade fruit, diamonds, drugs, and just having a good time. So, like, when they were always talking about the children of Israel in the desert partying, it wasn't that God was judging those people for that. He wasn't getting rid of them for using drugs and partying. He was getting rid of them for lying, cheating, and stealing. Because there was always enough to go around. The whole world was full of every kind of drug you could think of.
I want to see you come up out of that water. See that hair get wet. Come on.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I haven't. You're trying to be me. I haven't.
How? You don't want to call me to a swim pool? So you out here just what you say? You were listening to the radio?
I know, but I have to get used to it. I was gonna dunk in it anyway because I'm already halfway used to it. Okay.
Yeah. Once you go down one time, then you'll be okay.
Okay. But then I'm gonna look funny on camera.
You look funny anyway. Get that blonde hair wet.
Okay.
Are you holding it? There you go. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Come on. I'm gonna see you come out of the pool in slow motion. Come on out of slow motion. Y'all see Jennifer, man.
You know,
Jennifer's a supermodel. You're a supermodel, Jennifer.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of practice.
Huh?
I told you back in my day, man, before I don't know how I got turned into a baby. Don't ask me how. But back in my day, I remember being Cleopatra. I remember being there with Jesus. I remember I made the first bank, and I got so rich. That's why I formed the Twin Towers. And then when they came back from the dead, because somebody had prayed history repeat itself, so every year the dead would raise. And these people over here, the Taliban, they weren't Taliban, they were Vernons. They remembered me, and they come over there and tried to rescue me because they were trying to rob me. And I don't know if they were trying to rob me or blow me up.
Hey, you can't start. You can't talk too much.
But you remember the Twin Towers said 9/11?
Yeah, 9/11. Yeah.
The year was actually 9/11 when that happened.
Oh, okay.
And ever since then, I've been brain dead. And it's 2025. So I just now came to and remembered who I was. And it's weird that you had.
And you Cleopatra?
No, before.
Well, who are you? Who did you remember you was?
When I first came to Earth, like I said, I was
Go
the
again.
sun.
Go. You ain't ready?
I was the sun, and then I turned into a lion. I jumped on the planet, and then, like I told you, it went around there. Well, after that, I was Cleopatra because everybody thought I was God because I could shapeshift into different animals.
Yeah,
and then I made gold. And
okay,
diamonds,
yeah.
And then they started trying to rob me.
Mercy.
Because I had drugs and gold and animals and women, and then they got me, and then that's how I ended up here now in 2025. I've been out of it since 9/11.
Okay. So let me ask you something.
Because I told you I was buried for 2,000 years.
Huh?
Yeah. I told you they buried me alive for 2,000 years.
What?
Why do you think all those drugs were in there? Because I had eternal life. They couldn't kill me. And then 9/11 to now is almost 2,000 years.
Oh,
it
makes
history
sense.
repeating itself.
Oh.
How does that not make sense to you?
I said it makes sense now that you broke it down.
Yeah.
Huh? Go on, have a seat.
Well, how am I going to
Get your tan. Get your tan.
Well, now I look retarded.
No, you don't.
Let me see.
You're going to see the video. Yeah.
But yeah, so the thing with addiction really wasn't a thing back. I'm not saying drugs are good. I'm not saying they are. But I'm telling you right now, drugs are very, very serious if people are giving you like flesh-eating bacteria or they're giving you some kind of poison. Like, you don't want to snort or shoot something or smoke something you don't know what it is.
Right.
Because people were giving people poisonous mushrooms instead of trippy mushrooms. And they would put bleach in the brown stuff instead of like real opiates.
Oh.
Like, and people would do it and it would kill it. And that's how drugs got a bad name. And they are bad. But for the most part, most drugs come from leaves or fruits or air. That's why it's oxygen. The oxygen in the air. You need oxygen to survive. You need fruit and nutrients to survive. Hydrogen. It's the oxy is in the water.
Oh,
the
okay.
dope is in the water.
Oh.
That's hydrogen is water. Oxygen is air. And both of those things have dope in them. So when people are poisoning you and putting you down and making you saying you're only human, you're not God, and you're not perfect, which God created us all perfect, they're saying this to make you feel less about yourself, and then your body becomes depleted of those chemicals.
Yeah.
And
Hello?
that's why fresh air and water
Who's
always
this?
makes you feel better. It's just like doing a big
What's up,
line of
brother? Hey,
fentanyl.
hold on. Yeah, I had to take that phone call. That was really important.
Okay, so what I was saying was, when people, they would get around other people and people put people down and people aren't as rich as they want and people have money and then they put people down and say, well, you're not this and you're not that because you don't have money. It makes them feel a certain way about themselves, and the chemicals in their brain that make them feel happy, they get depleted. So they keep you inside so you're not outside, and they keep you working so you don't have a vacation, you don't get to go to the beach. But that oxygen and that hydrogen has the same, that fresh air and that water is the same chemicals that are in the drugs that make you feel so happy, like you're invincible and nobody can tell you nothing and you're so beautiful. Because don't people always say, oh, you think you're all beautiful on drugs, and then you look in the mirror and you don't look that way? And the thing is, because they were poisoning everybody and they were poisoning the drugs because they don't want people to feel how God wanted them to feel.
Right.
That's why God put all this in the air and in the water. It's the same as fresh air and sunshine and water and fruit makes you feel the same way that the drugs make you feel.
What's the combination again?
There was oxygen, and then there was hydrogen. Hydrogen is water, and then oxygen is the air.
No, you said something oxygen, sun, something in fruit.
Oh, fruit. Yeah, the fruit. You know how people.
So what are the four things you said so I can remember?
I can't remember what you're talking.
You just said
it. Okay. For one, I know hydrogen, oxygen, and then I know fruit is the third one. And
sun.
Well, sunshine, yeah, definitely sunshine.
Okay. Yeah, because I believe that, and I gotta find things that'll naturally put me in a good mood naturally.
Yeah.
I don't want no enhancement. I don't want no supplements. I just be like, dang. Because sometimes I wake up, I eat a lot of meat and big food and stuff, and I be feeling sluggish the next week or two. My brain, I be lazy. I need something that keep me full of energy and have my mind in the right place.
Well, like I said, God, He'll give you anything your heart desires. So every now and then, when you celebrate, I'm watching him. When you celebrate or have like a big feast like that, the thing that about when it said it in the Bible to sacrifice the best one, it's because He wanted you to have a clean piece of meat that didn't have any disease in it. Because people would try to sell you the cancer chicken or the cancer cow, but God wanted you to have a grain-fed, no drug eating, like no antibiotics or poison, because a lot of drugs are fake. Right. And even when you use an inhaler, did you know that heroin helps you breathe better?
Inhaler, I got inhaler.
It does.
I do. I got one for my bronchitis.
Yeah, that's why they charge $300 something for it.
My inhaler, that shit costs a lot. It costs a lot of money.
It helps
you
never
breathe.
Use it. It gets your blood circulating, because the same thing in the drugs is the same thing in the fruit, in the air, and the water, but it's concentrated. That way you don't have to go out there and sit in the sun for a week or drink water all day every day.
Right.
So, but I'm not saying drugs are good. I'm saying drugs originally came from that.
Right.
And then as time went on, people didn't realize that and they forgot that and they started putting poisons in stuff and selling it as drugs.
Right.
That's why when I got down here, I said I haven't been high, even though my life looked like a drug addict. I hadn't been high in years because you know why? Because I'm from back in the time where I know what drugs were like.
Okay, that's right.
And I could tell they weren't real.
Okay, well.
But here now, that's what a real.
Right.
But I'm not glamorizing it.
Yeah, and I got to end this interview.
I'm sorry.
Because you'll kill yourself in depth. I got to roll. God bless you. Let's. I would say, didn't you say you had another job?
No, I said I quit the job at Papa John's because they was only working.
So you ain't found another job yet?
Well, like I said, I'm queen and I'm supposed to be getting all the money that they stole from me here in a debit card here soon. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna need a job.
All right. Well, in the meantime, you need me.
Yeah.
Call me. And
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with you, man. We rocking out. I'm glad you're here without no drugs, without no alcohol. You're sitting here,
Yeah.
enjoying the sun,
Right.
getting them natural vitamins.
I've already got the debit card. People keep stealing from me, but
Yeah.
they can't spend it. So
Right.
they're gonna finally give it back to me.
Right. All right. Well,
Because I can give them more than that debit card, and that's a lot because that's like all the money in the universe.
Mm-hmm. We know it.
All
God
right.
bless you.
Have a great day.